Welcome into another edition of the Gridiron Grind. Krita, Jimmy, what's happening?
What's going on, Krita? I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm on cloud nine. Been on cloud nine all week. Been smiling from ear to ear. Just that beat down in D-Town. You know what I mean? Just
Dude.
49, nothing. Any 49 joke I could make all week. Last weekend I've been making it, you know. Like I told my mom, big OU fan, I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to go home tonight and watch 49 hours. 49 hours? Yeah, they changed the name of it, Mom.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You know, just of all the years of frustration I have, my mom's side of the family, they're all Sooners. And they, you know, are not afraid that second Saturday in September, like 2000 when it was 63-14 and all the blowouts. You know, I'm their number one target because I'm probably the most passionate fan. So it felt good to kind of release some demons and kind of get back at them on Saturday. So I loved every minute of it. I'm going to be smiling every time I think about it. Just couldn't have been a better Saturday.
And you got it for a year. That's what I think is so awesome. Because, like, in football, you know, we're going to get into Cowboys-Eagles here in a little bit. But, like, okay, so we get Philly. They know that, okay, well, they got to come back. They're coming back in a few weeks. Like, it's one of the things that makes, in my opinion, college football great is you get that win for an entire year. You get the off season, everything, preseason, spring game, until you play again, you own them.
Exactly. And like after what happened last year, Texas blowing that huge lead to them, and I'll never forget, we're sitting there, we watch it at my parents' farm, which is right on the Red River, and my youngest sister, her now husband, he's a diehard Sooner fan, and he's been coming out the last couple of years, and last year, Texas is up big, and I make the comment, it's about time we blow these guys out. And, of course, insert Caleb Williams, they come back, we lose. He has not let me live that down all year. So to finally come back and actually win this year and blow them out, it was just awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So it was a great weekend. Cowboys, the defense is just dominating. I mean, that game was over before it even started. You get a block punt touchdown, and then you get a sack fumble. Cooper Rush comes out onto the field for the first time. They're already ahead by a touchdown, and he's got the ball in the red zone. The Dallas defense is the best in the league, in my opinion, and they're just dominating right now.
Right. The only other team that you could have had in the conversation, we just mollywopped.
Right.
That was the Rams. So we were, you know, before it was like Rams are probably 1A, we're 1B. Now we're number one. That is, I agree with you. I think Dallas has the best defense in the league, and if we can get Diggs back to last season, of course, you know, it'd be hard to replicate. But if he can get close to last season form, I don't even think it's close. That there's no one that can touch us right now. We're getting to the quarterback, which has always been kind of the, you know, our downfall is we're always a half step late or can't even touch him at all. And I was really impressed with the defense, and I've been impressed with Cooper Rush. You know, like we talked about, he's not going to do a whole bunch of flashy plays, but he's going to make the right plays, right decisions at the right time. So, yeah, impressed all the way around.
All the way around. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence is having an unbelievable year, and that's because of Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, as good as he was last year, he's taking it up a notch. He's becoming unblockable one-on-one. And then that just leaves it one-on-one opportunities for DeMarcus Lawrence. The whole D-line's looking great. And then you mentioned Cooper Rush. I didn't even realize this till after the game. He only had 89 yards passing. I mean, didn't really need much. The defense dominated. They didn't have a chance in that game. Still won by 12. Tony Pollard had that long run. It was just it was a phenomenal, dominating performance over the defending Super Bowl champion. And I think this Cowboy team's for real, no matter what they do on offense, because the defense, that shows you right there. Not that the Rams, I think, are that same caliber team as they were last year. They're still a defending Super Bowl champion. And I think our defense can carry us wherever we want to go.
I think they can, too. I'd like to see a little more out of the offense. I'd like to see them kind of match it, because I think if the offense ever matched the defense, I don't think it would even be close. We'd just blow teams out, and it'd be like, you know, Cowboys all over again. But I do think the defense, you know, they can't be on the field all the time. I think that's one thing we've been able to do is kind of keep them off, keep them rested a little bit. Then they come out and dominate, get us the ball back in good position. So, yeah, I'd like to see the offense pick it up a little bit. But I tell you what, I'm excited right now with what I'm seeing on the field.
Absolutely. And then, as you talked about, the big Eagles game is Sunday night. Huge game. I mean, this has potential. Obviously, for the division, NFC East championship, trying to repeat the division. No one's repeated in the East in what has it been, like 15, 16, 17 years?
Yeah.
Really long time. So Cowboys trying to do that. Eagles are undefeated, the only undefeated team in the league. They squeaked one bye last week. I think it was against the Cardinals. But, I mean, you're looking at the division winner, first round bye, potential number one overall seed. There's no telling what could happen down the road. This is such a huge game as far as all that is concerned. And plus, it's just the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is getting all this hype this year. And I've said it to people. We have a mutual friend, my college roommates from Philadelphia. I was like, you say all you want, but Jalen Hurts has never beat the Cowboys. It's never even been close. DeMarcus Lawrence said it this week. He's like, I don't know why you guys are always talking about him. He still hadn't come in here. He still hadn't beat us. He's still got to beat us. So it's like everybody's just kind of crowning the Eagles like they're the best team in the league. Last I checked, Jalen Hurts hadn't come close to beating the Cowboys. And this line, Jimmy, it's outrageous. It's 6.5 Eagles. Eagles are favored by 6.5. What am I missing? Because every week I'm taking the Cowboys and I'm making money every week. I think Vegas is wrong on the Cowboys. I believe in the defense that good. Eagles, it's going to be interesting. Eagles are the number one pass rush blocking team. They're allowing the least amount of sacks in the league. The Dallas Cowboys, number one pass rushing, number one sack. So, I mean, that's going to be a great matchup to watch. But, I mean, I think the Cowboys have a great shot to win this game. I know it's in Philadelphia, but I think it's going to be a heck of a game. And I think the Cowboys' defense is going to be the most dominant unit on the field.
I think so, too. I have a question on us being able to contain Hurts. Go back to the Giants game. That's the last probably mobile quarterback we faced, right. Daniel Jones. Second leading rusher. He rushed for 79 yards. He was averaging 8, almost 9 a carry. Barkley finished with 81 yards. He was 3 yards shy of Saquon Barkley. So I'm beating Saquon Barkley. So I'm like, that is going to be the matchup. If we can contain Hurts, we don't get too far downfield and let him get out. If we can collapse the pocket, I don't believe in the Eagles receivers or Jalen Hurts. However, if Hurts gets out running, I think that's going to be our downfall is Jalen Hurts. His legs, not his arm. His arm doesn't impress me, but his legs.
Right.
If we can contain them, it's over.
And his ability to run, but his ability to get outside the pocket and make a throw. It's one of those game plans. I said this when he was at Oklahoma. And Texas' game plan was to make him throw the ball from the pocket. And that worked. Of course, Oklahoma didn't win that game, but he threw a couple interceptions and fumbled that game. You got to make him throw it from the pocket, and then you can and then Parsons and Lawrence can tee off on him, but you can't let him get outside. He can't lose contain. You got to maintain rush integrity and get to him, and you can't let him get outside the pocket because A, he can run, or B, He can guys. You can only cover guys for so long. I mean, it's the hardest thing to do in football is cover somebody running a route without holding them. So yeah, you got to keep him inside the pocket, make him throw from the pocket, and then sack him and collapse on him. So I'm with you. If he has to throw to beat us, I feel great about the Cowboys' chances.
I love it. Yeah, I do too. If it's up to his arm and not his legs, I think it's Cowboys all day.
Yeah, and the Eagles' defense. It's a solid unit. I think the Cowboys can. They can. I think they can do their average. If they've been doing, if they're scoring in the 20s, I feel great about it. I really feel like the Cowboys' defense unit is it's the most dominant unit in the National Football League right now. You got the Chiefs' offense and the Bills' offense. I think the Bills are probably the most complete team because they got. Top offense and a top defense, but I think the Cowboys defense is the best unit in the league, and I expect them to show it. And I keep thinking Vegas is missing on the Cowboys. I've been right every week so far. We'll see if I'm right again.
Yeah, and if it's a close game, because the Eagles, like I said, we know what they can do on offense. We know if we hit our average. If it's a close game, I also like Maher the way that he's kind of looking like a new kicker. And so a second stint in Dallas looks like a new man. So I like Maher too. I mean, we're really clicking right now, and I think if it's a close game, we come down. I think we can do enough to get in field goal position. Maher, the marksman, brings it home.
The rebirth of Maher, the marksman, has just been a beautiful thing to watch. He has been money all year. So that's Sunday night. Cowboys in Philadelphia taking on the Eagles. Super pumped about it. It's just going to be an all-around great weekend of football because right before that you have Bills and Chiefs. Noon games aren't great, but the 3:25 game, Bills and Chiefs, that's going to be great. Precursor to Cowboys at Eagles. It's going to be a heck of a Sunday and a heck of a Saturday. If you got nothing going on Saturday, watching college football this weekend is going to be phenomenal. You got 6 ranked versus ranked matchups. Number 10, Penn State at 5, Michigan. 3, Alabama at 6, Tennessee. Number 8, Oklahoma State at 13, TCU. At 15, NC State. At 18, Syracuse. Syracuse has been playing out of their mind. Number 6, Mississippi State. At 22, Kentucky. And number 7, USC. At 20, Utah. Jimmy, focusing on the 2 undefeated versus undefeated games. You got 3, Alabama. At 6, Tennessee. Tennessee's getting a touchdown. How do you see that one playing out? Alabama at Tennessee. Is this the year Tennessee? Are they in that upper echelon in the SEC this year?
I've got this one in my picks. This game,
I do too. I do too. By the way, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm excited when we get to it. Alabama has not looked the same without Bryce Young. Really, I mean, we know what Anderson and Turner can do. We know what Bryce Young can do. They just have not. Without Bryce Young, I'm just going, this looks like a different team. Like, there should have been no reason that A&M goes and has a chance to win that game. That's another conversation. I think Jimbo needs to give up play calling. That's for another conversation.
We've talked about that, yeah.
Alabama does not look the same. They need their leader. They need Bryce Young out there on the field. He's still questionable. He
and I'm surprised. I heard he was going to play last week, and then he didn't play. And then I haven't heard for sure. I wonder if that's gamemanship or not. I mean, you got to expect him to play, right?
I would think so. I thought that last week maybe they thought, we're good enough. A&M shouldn't even be in the same stadium with us. Like, ended up being close, and he's not one to put him out there. I don't know. You never know, gamesmanship or not. I know Bryce Young has practiced sparingly this week, but I'm also sitting here going, I mean, I think if he can play in any capacity, I think he's going to play. How effective he's going to be, that's yet to be seen. But this is game. Neyland Stadium is going to be rocking there in Knoxville. You'd have thought you're going to think Davy Crockett himself walked into that stadium.
Yeah,
that place is going to be loud. It's going to be hard for Alabama to hear. Whoever's under center for Alabama to hear. And Hooker is this Tennessee team. There's a lot of hype around him, and we'll see. I think it's going to be a fantastic game.
I do too. I have switched my pick. When I first looked at the lines, I said, hey, I'm going with this team.
Mm-hmm.
But now I've changed it. So, we'll see. Like you said, I mean, I'm interested to see if Tennessee is actually for real. Mm-hmm. How many times have they had an opportunity like this? And then they haven't come through since 1998, 99, whatever it was. So,
Steve Martin.
Yeah. Anyway. And then the Big 12, you got 2 undefeateds. Oklahoma State at TCU. I'm a little surprised that, and I have this one in my picks as well, TCU favored by 4. Of course, they're at home. But Mike Gundy is phenomenal as an underdog at Oklahoma State. Like, he's only lost the spread like twice in the last 5, 6, 7 years. I need to look at the stat, but he's got an unbelievable record when the line is within 4 either way. And I don't know if he's lost when he's been the underdog, or if he has not covered when he's been the underdog. So TCU 4. I watched you 2 teams. I think you got to say these are definitely the 2 most complete teams in the Big 12 so far. I think this is going to be a great game. I'm excited to watch it. You got the two oldest quarterbacks in the league, Spencer Sanders, Max Duggan. They've both started for 4 years. It's going to be interesting to see how this one goes.
Yeah, I think so too. These teams are pretty evenly matched. They're both scoring 46, and giving up 24 points a game. So I think this may be, Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan type stuff. Where just unstoppable force meets an immovable object. These two teams have really. I mean, Oklahoma State's had some close calls. They found a way to win. That's what good teams do. And TCU has been really impressive. I mean, of course, now it's like, well, I still think it means a lot, is that beat down of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone's beating Oklahoma down these days, right?
Yeah, it's not as big of a deal anymore. They've given up over 100 points, 2 games.
Yeah, TCU's been really impressive, and it's in Fort Worth, and that place is going to be rocking. Those are the two games that I'm really excited to see on Saturday.
Yeah, be interesting. I haven't picked
major implications in both.
I think the winner of this game between Oklahoma State and TCU, the Big 12. What I've said it for years. It's the most competitive conference. It might not be the best, might not have the best teams, but as far as the competition and the games, and this year I think you're seeing it because Kansas isn't terrible. So finally, all 10 teams could beat any of them. And it's just the most competitive conference, I think, top to bottom. I think you're definitely seeing that this year. I do think the winner of this game, I think, is going to be in the Big 12 championship.
I agree. I think the only other team, I think the loser of this game and probably Texas.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
feel
Kansas
good
State, they eked one out, but I think it's
Oklahoma State, TCU are both better than Kansas State.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
So I really feel like, Texas is hot, obviously, and they got, you got Quinn Ewers back, and that offense is looking great. But Sark on true road games has not been very good. So, Texas has to play at Oklahoma State and at Kansas State, and then come home and play TCU. So, we'll see. You'll get to see if Texas is for real or not on that stretch. But I do think the winner of this game will make the Big 12 championship.
I agree. I
can see them both losing the game, but yeah. So, all right, we'll see how it goes. And then a game I'm really looking forward to: number 7 USC at number 20 Utah. Utah's really kind of let me down. They've lost 2 road games, and Cameron Rising has thrown an interception in the end zone both times.
That was your boy, wasn't it?
Yeah, transferred from Texas. I was always a fan of Cam Rising because he was committed to OU for a long time, and then he flipped to Texas last minute. So anytime you can just stab Oklahoma right there, I'm all for it.
Stuck him 49 times, I heard.
Yeah. Love it. And then UCLA is for real now. UCLA is undefeated in the Pac-12. 2 undefeated teams, UCLA and USC. I've said all along I thought Utah is the best team in the Pac-12. Well, that can't be true if they don't win this game. They basically got to win out. So Vegas agrees with me, though. Utah is favored by 3.5 in this game. And we'll get to see USC's for real. USC, the one real road game they had, I don't count Stanford as a real road game because no one shows up to watch Stanford play football.
Yeah, Stanford, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
You're exactly right.
But Oregon State is a legit home field. They show up and it's packed and it is raucous. USC struggled. Offense struggled mightily against Oregon State. So I'm excited to see them against Utah. That's going to be a night game. I think Utah. I've said all along they're the best team in the Pac-12. I have to prove it this week, so I'm excited to see that one. It's just, if you got nothing to do, and I one of my busiest weekends of the year, unfortunately. I got my daughter's birthday. She turns 4 Saturday, but we have so much other stuff. We got cheerleading. We got fall festival with the school. So we're not having our birthday party on Sunday. I just got stuff all weekend. But if you are lucky enough to have nothing to do, the Saturday slate of college football games is unreal on Saturday. And then, of course, Sunday we talked about. So it's going to be a great weekend if you get to watch football. So
have kids, they said.
Have kids. When I was, I have 3 girls, and I forgot. I was like, well, it'd be cool to watch them play football. But, I got girls, so I guess, I won't be going to Little League games. I get to watch college football on Saturdays instead of going to watch Pee Wee football. Totally forgot about cheerleading, Jimmy. Totally forgot. My oldest
Devils in the
daughter's
details, bro. Devils in the details.
oldest daughter's in kindergarten, and she's cheerleading this year, and I totally forgot I have to go watch cheerleading, which is the highlight of the game because their poor team that she cheers for. They're 0-7. Their final game is Saturday. Haven't scored a touchdown all year. Poor kids, but the spirits are high. Spirits are high for the team. Emery said, she said, we just have to cheer harder for them. I said, you're right.
That's right.
That's right. So, but that's the last one. So after that, anyway, all right, let's get to picks. I've said it every week. We're the hottest show on YouTube, no doubt about it. We are picking 64% as a show. That's for the year. This is week 8. I mean, we're the midway point, past midway point, and we're still. I mean, we're on fire. Last week we were both 3-2. We went 1-1 head up. Somehow I got lucky on that Iowa State. It was minus 1.5 or 2, and they were winning the whole game. And they winning 9-7. Kansas State kicks a field goal, so kind of a bad beat for you a little bit. You lost by I won by a point, but you were totally right on Tennessee LSU. That was not even close.
Yeah, I just did at night. I think that had LSU written all over it. 11 a.m.
I agree with you.
Death Valley doesn't do much, and that was a game for Tennessee to kind of go to prepare them for Alabama. So we'll see.
Yeah,
but that Tennessee wasn't close.
It was not close. So we ended up going 3-2. I'm 23-10 on the season, 70%. Jimmy's 19-14, 58%. Again, we're on fire. Just unreal. Hottest show on YouTube. So we'll get after it. Jimmy's got 6 picks. I got 5. I'll let you start since you have an extra. What's your first one?
Right out of the gate, coming in hot, controversial opinion pick right here. TCU, Oklahoma State, TCU -4.
I'm with you.
Oklahoma State has given up leads and had to come back. They've really had to make – they've really been pressured to win these last few games. And, we got a lot of OSU friends, and
Yeah.
I hate to do this. And I think TCU pulls this out. I think TCU is good enough. They're going to get a lead late and not allow Spencer Sanders to luck his way backdoor into a win. I think TCU at home -4. Give it to me.
I'm with you. I'm taking TCU -4. I mean, I on this show, episode 1, I picked Oklahoma State as the Big 12 champion. But, I didn't realize TCU was going to be this good. But everything you just said, plus this. Oklahoma State defense played 104 plays last week against Texas Tech. Guess what TCU does? Same thing. It's going to be high tempo, high octane, run a ton of plays, wear you out, try to run away from you in the fourth quarter. And back-to-back weeks, and Oklahoma State had a scare last week. I mean, that was a fourth quarter game against Texas Tech. It's going to be the same thing again. And I think, to me, I thought Oklahoma State might have been the more complete team. I think TCU's offense is really good, and their defense has played pretty good. And I just think it's going to be too much for the Oklahoma State defense. It's in Fort Worth. I'm with you, TCU -4.
Yeah, I think TCU -4. I like that one. My next one, super controversial pick. Alabama at Tennessee. Like I said, they're going to be rocking. I'm going Tennessee +7.5. I think Tennessee at home rocking. Alabama has not looked good. If we could contain a quarterback, there's no telling. That they would have barely beat us. They barely scraped by against A&M due to terrible route tree, play calling, whatever you want to call it. And I think Tennessee at home they at least cover. I don't know if they win or not. If you feel compelled to, maybe put some money line on that. But Tennessee, I think, covers 7.5 at home.
So all week I've been this all came out. I'm like, it was first Tennessee +8, and I was like, oh, Tennessee. But then I've seen everybody and their mom is on Tennessee, and so I've switched it. I'm going Alabama -7 by the half a point. It is at 7.5, so Jimmy's down for +7.5, but I would buy the half a point. But the caveat is, if Bryce Young doesn't play, you got to get out of this bet. Bet heavy the other side. If you go ahead and place the bet, and then Bryce Young doesn't play, by Tennessee. But I think Bryce Young's going to play. I thought he was going to play last week. But to me, this just screams. I mean, I'm with you. Alabama hasn't looked great against good teams. Texas took them to the wire. A&M had every opportunity to win that game. Terrible play call, by the way. Just awful. It's from the 4-yard line with one play, 2 seconds to go, and you run a 3-yard comeback. Even if he catches it, it doesn't get in the end zone.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, being an A&M fan is got to be the most frustrating thing right now because you got a legit defense, but your head coach, who you've got $100 million tied up with, calls the plays, and he's the worst play caller in the conference. I mean, that's got to be frustrating. Anyway, to me, this just screams Nick Saban, Alabama, put my foot down, show my authority. They've owned Tennessee. To me, this is a bounce-back game. This was the game Alabama reasserts their dominance. And it's one of those things, they haven't looked great. Tennessee has looked really good, but you got to show it to me before I can believe it. And Tennessee I can't tell you, when's the last time they beat Alabama? 99?
Yeah, you got me. That was Kiffin's comment at his press conference, is we're going to beat Alabama.
Right.
Then he jumped ship and stole recruits to go to USC. So,
yeah,
it's been a while.
So, Bryce Young plays. Put me down by the half a point on Alabama -7. So we're going head-to-head again this week. All right, your next one.
Friday game. SMU Navy over 57.
All right.
I like this one. I like there to be a lot of points scored in this one. Weather looks good. I think SMU at home, and I think they get it done.
I got an over for you. One of our favorite teams, Illinois, hosting Minnesota. I think Illinois has the number 1 defense in the country. Minnesota can really score it. This over-under's at 39. I mean, I know Illinois' number 1 defense in the country. They held Iowa to 6 last week. They won a game 9-6 last week over Iowa. Cashed that season win total over for us, by the way.
Yep.
I see this being a little higher scoring. I see it being at least in the 40s, maybe in the 50s. Minnesota, Illinois, over 39. I mean, caveat, Illinois has the number 1 defense in the country, number 1 scoring defense. But Minnesota can really score. They can really run some offense. I think they're going to run a lot of plays. And just the sheer fact of running so many plays, it's going to be a lot of points. So give me Minnesota, Illinois, over 39.
I like it. My next pick, 11 a.m. game, Penn State on the road against Michigan in the Big House. I like Michigan -7. Michigan's getting more, scoring more points, getting more yards, giving up less yards. I just think this is the recipe. Penn State, they're both coming in undefeated, but I think Michigan just dominates this game, and I think this one could be a double-digit win for Michigan.
This is going to be a fun game to watch at 11 o'clock. Michigan has looked really good. Penn State has a couple really good wins on the road at Auburn. I mean, I say good win. Auburn's terrible, but they beat Auburn handedly. So this is the first real test for both teams. This is just one of those sit back and in your case root for Michigan. Sit back and watch a really good football game. Mm-hmm. So, I'm always a fan of the home team. So Michigan Penn State's going to be a good one. So Jimmy's got Michigan -7. Night game for me. Utah hosting USC.
Ooh.
USC's undefeated. Utah has 2 losses. I've said all along I think Utah is the best team in the Pac-12. We talked about it earlier. I think Vegas agrees with me. Surprised they're getting 3.5. I'm going to buy the half point. Give me Utah -3, and I think they're going to give USC their first loss of the season, and I think Utah's going to reaffirm what I've said all along. They're the best team in the Pac-12, and I think they get that done, and they beat USC. USC's going to face some adversity, and I think a night game in Bryce Eccles Stadium in Utah is going to be the difference. So give me Utah -3 over USC.
I almost put this game on my list. I was going to take USC just because Utah's let me down.
They have let me down.
I've
This
been
is the
wrong
last time.
against USC, and so I'm sitting here but I stayed away from it. My last one in college is Mississippi State -4. I love that. I think Mississippi State. Of course, last week we didn't have KJ Jefferson. I don't know what much more we could have did, but at Kentucky, Kentucky coming off that's a bad loss against South Carolina.
Yes, it is.
24-14 to a terrible South Carolina team. Mississippi State beats us 40-17. We have a pretty good defense. I think Mississippi State -4. I think they just go into Kentucky and take care of business. That one's that's a 6:30. It's a night game. So
I like that.
-4.
Being on the road gives me reservations. That was a bad loss for Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mississippi State's for real. I've said it all along. I gave them out as my winners. Anytime Mike Leach has had a 3-year starting quarterback, they've won at least 9 games. Their season win total was 6.5. I gave that out the very first episode this year. I think Mississippi State, anytime Mike Leach, his system gets a guy that's just done it that many times, they execute at a high level. I think Mississippi State's for real. I think it's a great pick. I'd like them to win that game pretty easily on the road. So my last one's in the NFL. It might be the same one. It's the Dallas Cowboys out Philadelphia +6.5. We've talked about it at length at the beginning of the show. The defense is just dominating teams. Eagles, you're going to have to show it to me. Jalen Hurts hadn't come close to beating the Cowboys. Give me the Cowboys getting 6.5. Now, NFL, they charge you a lot to buy that half a point up to 7. So do that if you will. I probably won't. It's just they charge you a lot of money to get that extra half point in the NFL games. So I'm going to take Cowboys +6.5.
I like it. Mine is in the NFL as well. It is Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I go under 46 in this game. Steelers are awful. Tampa Bay, Fournette's having a great year. I think they're just going to come in, pound the ground, win this thing, maybe something 28-0, 33-0, something like that. I don't even think it's going to be close. I think this has got under written all over it because of Tampa Bay's ability to control the game on the ground.
So what's that? Is it 46 you said?
Yes, 46.
I think it's a great pick because, let's say the Buccaneers scored 35 points. The Steelers are going to get to double digits on the Buccaneers. They scored 3 last week.
Yeah.
And it was against Buffalo. But, Tampa Bay's got a heck of a defense, too.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're golden there.
And Tampa Bay can get to the quarterback, and whether it's Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky, I don't think it matters much. That's got turnovers written all over it when those two get under pressure. So, I think Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh under 46.
All right, there you have it. Hottest show on YouTube. 64% of the show. We just gave you 11 more picks. Me and Jimmy are going. We agree with TCU together. We're going head-to-head for that Alabama-Tennessee game. So we'll see what happens. Remember, caveat, only if Bryce Young plays for me. Obviously, I'm not backing Jalen Milroe after what I saw last week. But, so.
I'd like to add a caveat. I'll take that only if Tennessee covers. So.
It's a good point. Good point. Arkansas has got BYU this week. Whoever makes the Arkansas schedule needs to be fired immediately.
No joke, man. We got to go to Provo. I'm like.
They play the hardest schedule every year. Arkansas.
Last 3 years. It's 3 or 4 years. The last 3 or 4 years they have the toughest schedule in college football. Sam Pittman's been a really feel-good guy, and no one's talking about getting rid of him, this and that, but they are kind of asking him like, all right, man, you've been everybody's buddy. Let's try not to be everybody's buddy and maybe get after these guys and So we'll see, Trey. I don't know. Again, we hadn't beat Nick Saban since he got to Alabama. Last Alabama coach we beat was Mike Shula. He left, had the program on probation. We've not beat Saban since he's been there. That one doesn't bother me. The A&M game, we were the better team, just made a stupid play. And if the kick, with the way the rule is, if it would have just been a little bit left, it goes in, or if it had been a little bit higher,
and went over the goalpost, they would have counted it good. Which I think is a dumb rule because, as you see, if it goes right over, if it hits the goalpost right on, it doesn't go in.
Yeah,
that's the rule. If it went a little higher or a little left, you win that game.
Yeah, and so that one hurts. But so I think it's the we kind of got the wind, and then Mississippi State just sort of drummed us, and and it just sort of takes the wind out of your sails. So going to BYU, I don't know what to expect. KJ Jefferson will be playing.
I like Arkansas. I got to be honest.
I think if we can,
Arkansas is a better team. It's a pick 'em. Last I checked.
Yeah, it's still even. I think I may take the Hogs kind of last minute. Decide I'll make a decision once I find out. For sure. All signs, everything is 99% KJ Jefferson's going to play. I think we're a different team with him. It's like the opposite of what the Cowboys. Dak goes out, and it's like the rest of the team sort of elevated to, hey, we got to play. Our leaders out. And then when KJ Jefferson went down, it was sort of the opposite effect for Arkansas, where guys are still playing hard, but it just we looked like the same team. We looked like we were dragging a little bit. So it'll be an interesting game. Difference
between a professional mentality and a 18 to 22-year-old mentality.
Exactly.
So, I'm with you. I think they just weren't in the right frame of mind with not having KJ last week, but.
You guys got Iowa State.
Yeah, interesting line there. It got on to 17. It's at 16 right now. Iowa State is the number one ranked defense in the Big 12. The number one scoring defense, number one total defense, number one rush against the rush, number one against the pass. So it's an interesting matchup to see Texas' offense go against that. Iowa State is not lost by more than a touchdown in years. And they're definitely not all this year. They lost by a touchdown to Baylor, and then they had a 1-point loss to Kansas State last week, and then they had a 3-point loss to Kansas the week before where they missed 3 field goals. So Matt Campbell, Iowa State, they just don't get blown out. So it'd be interesting to see. The spread is 16, and so Vegas is anticipating Iowa State's going to suffer the worst loss in years. So we'll see what happens. I think, Iowa State's offense they're terrible. Like, they're just awful. I don't see them being able to score hardly at all. I mean, they haven't scored a touchdown in the last 2 games. So, and that was against Kansas and Kansas State. So we'll see. I think you'll learn a lot about Texas's offense if they can score like they've been scoring against Iowa State, number one defense in the conference. I think they got a for real offense, and I think they do. Quinn Ewers, I think, is, he's got some serious talent throwing the football. So hopefully it's an easy peasy, no sweat game again. That last week was fun.
Yeah,
Oklahoma. The no sweat wins they're the best.
Rocking chair wins. You can just sit back in your rocking chair and just not even have to worry. Maybe take a nap, wake up, and go, 38. Huh.
I'm not a bit when Texas is playing the Cowboys. I'm focused on the game, watching the game. But then, you're blowing them out. You get to check Twitter, people texting you, you're reaching out. Everybody had to yap a little bit. You get to have a little interaction, get to see what people are saying on Twitter.
Yeah, right.
When it's close, I'm locked in.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Me too. I'm like, don't talk to me, don't touch me, don't say nothing, don't call me, don't text me, nothing. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So, hopefully that's the case. The gauntlet of the Big 12. It's a competitive conference. Texas, after this week, they're going to be in it. Texas will have at Oklahoma State. They'll get a bye. Then they're at Kansas State, hosting TCU. Kansas, on the road to Kansas, finish up with Baylor. All these teams that are at the top in the Big 12 are about to play each other in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So the Big 12 is going to be great viewing. And then, of course, the Big 10, we'll see how Penn State matches up. But it's looking like collision course the Saturday after Thanksgiving, Michigan, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with SEC. You get to see this week is Tennessee's for real. If Alabama wins, looks like another collision course, Alabama, Georgia in the SEC championship game. So
right now that has Georgia written all over it. So
I think so.
We'll see.
I think so. Ohio State has leaped as the favorite to win the college football championship. I think their offense looks like the most complete unit. I will say that their offense looks pretty lethal. So we'll see. I think it's guaranteed, obviously. Ohio State gets in, and then winner Alabama, Georgia, if that's who plays. I mean, if Alabama loses this week and then loses again to Georgia, obviously Alabama's probably out.
Yeah, they'll be out and they'll go to a bowl game they don't care about, and some team will beat them, and then they will. That team will use that as, look, we beat Alabama, and it's like, yeah, okay, look at it.
You'll have Saban. The only time Saban makes excuses is something like that. Like, well, the NFL evaluations came out and we weren't focused. They come out at the same time every year, Nick. You only use it as an excuse when you don't play crap. Or he'll make some other. He makes excuses when he loses. If you notice.
Yeah, he
don't like Paul Feinbaum, but he said that. He does make excuses when he loses, which is interesting. He just doesn't fit his MO. I think he just hates losing so much. He's got to say something, but So we'll see. It's just gonna be. It's great football this weekend. Great football.
Love it. So reshape the college football landscape.
Next week, let's play one of our old games. We'll play like I'll give you a list of teams. We'll play like pretender or contender.
All right.
College football playoff. Because we'll get to, after this week, Michigan, Penn State, Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma State, TCU. Two undefeateds. They're going to lose. So it's, we'll play a little pretender contender next week.
I like it.
About getting into the college football playoff. So, all right, check us out. YouTube. Still working with Apple Podcasts. I don't know what's going on there. It'll hopefully be fixed one day. So I don't know. But YouTube, we're there. Check us out. We're on the Gridiron Grind YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe. If you subscribe, you get a notification every time the show comes out. We try to have it out on Thursdays, but schedules fluctuate. Getting it out on Fridays this week. So anyway, you have your afternoon walk or evening walk. Check out the Gridiron Grind. Watch it tonight. Watch it Saturday before the games. Have all the info for you. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Another episode in the books. Jimmy, we'll see you next week, buddy.
Take it easy, Gridiron.
See ya.